Hello, 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 everyone. It has been a long time, and I will tell you all why. So, I broke my phone 6 days after I recorded this video, was a little bit ago. Um, and to be honest, I had been doing a little bit badly on my social media before in general, especially with the Instagram. I had not been posting as much as I would normally have been because I was running dry on content and I was going through a lot of the time mentally and emotionally. So here we are now. We are back. I am back, and let's get it. So first things first, I'm starting with Grand plies on demi point in sixth position. The reason I wanted to do this exercise is mainly because I felt like it would strengthen the patellar tendons of my knees specifically, and also help me to balance better on demi point because at the time I had very, very, very terrible balance on demi point. Now I would say that I have better balance than I had then. This was actually like a month ago, well, 29 days ago. Um, so yeah, I would say that it's gotten better since I filmed this specific video, but it's definitely because I've been doing things like this. I was so bad in center that I literally could not even I could hardly do a Grand Plie. So I decided to film this day because the first time I ever tried, I did not film it. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't even go down and go up once. I think I had practiced this a few times like before, not this entire workout, but just a few Grand Plies and fifth before this day. Oh, no, no, no. I had tried a lot before. Not this exact workout, but one that's different that I kind of just made up on the spot. This one I made up too on the spot, but I wrote it down so that I could always have it. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm also doing demi plies as well to really articulate through my feet. I noticed my back heel, would like to come up a lot because of how tight my ankle was. And mainly the thing about this entire video that I've noticed is actually my lack of how much I've worked on my turnout. Not just the lack of how much I haven't, how much I've worked on it. I have not worked on it enough because, to be honest, I haven't known what to really do to work on it. And I've been researching it a lot over the past 3 months specifically because you can't really do anything without it. And I would try to turn out harder as if that was going to help me, but I didn't know what muscles to use or to activate. And you'll see more of that later. Also, I will say my plies are deeper now because now I know exactly what I'm doing. I didn't even know truly how to put on my ballet shoe, even though I would put it on. I didn't know how to move it around and adjust it properly on my foot so that my toes were not too cramped together. And it was really affecting my performance both here and in the workshops that I take on Tuesdays. And it just was a really big problem and I couldn't balance at all. And I've actually gotten better since then because my shoes were not inhibiting my movement anymore. It was me groaning because it was hurting. I would like to take a moment to share something with you all. And I want us to go ahead and set the record straight. I am not giving up on myself, and I am not quitting. And I am not changing my goal of wanting to make it to YAGP because I have time. And even if time isn't on my side, God is. So, like the Bible says, if God be for us, who can be against us? They did not mention time. So I'm pretty sure that God can help me get there regardless. And to be honest, I've rewatched a lot of my videos and I've recognized that I've had a habit of making excuses because in reality I'm just scared. And it's normal to be scared and to be kind of nervous. So I'm not beating myself up over that. But I would like to just formally apologize and say, I will not be doing that again. There will be no more making excuses. There will be no more I can't, I won't, realistically speakings. And that's actually why I changed my channel name from Your Average Joe to Not Your Average Joe, because I don't want to just be your average Joe in any way. And internally, I'm not. I'm different. I'm unique. I'm me. And you know, us just considering ourselves average Joes really is us diminishing our value of who we are to ourselves on the inside. It doesn't matter how somebody else will see us, because the reason I name myself that is because, well, a whole lot of people would, just consider me just an average guy, blah, 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 blah. That does not matter, not even slightly, what you think other people would think about you. And as a matter of fact, it's not humility, it's the exact opposite. It's pride to the point that you want to go ahead and dictate what other people might think about you before they get to, because you're scared of what they might feel or think about you. And I've noticed that a lot about myself, watching these videos, going back and reading comments that I've posted on other videos on any given platform. And I just recognize, wow, I've been very, very insecure my entire life. And I'm not just saying that I'm just gonna go ahead and just never be insecure again, but what I'm saying is I'm now changing my behaviors because I've been changing what's going on in my mind on the inside. And I just want to share that with you all because I think that is very important. And the reason I have this channel in the first place, it's about staying true to yourself. And I had to let out pain for a moment right there in that clip. A whole lot of beating up of myself instead of making adjustments and just getting better. Like here, went and got the bar because I recognized I just could not balance, and that was perfectly fine. You know, it's all about being, what's the word? Flexible, being malleable, versatile. Like not versatile. What's the word? I guess it's flexible, but not in the physical sense, but in being able to move and change shape and to figure out what you need to do to adjust. Adaptable, that's the word. It I that's kind of an ability I've had for a long time, but instead of just being adaptable and true to myself, I kind of just beat myself up for not being better. And this channel is about adaptability, and I am about adaptability. I'm telling you, the arches of my feet hurt. I'm telling you, the arches of my feet hurt so much. I had to force myself to get back into it because I wanted to just go and sit in the hot tub or something. Like it really was tough. Also, another thing is I will be doing what I said I was going to do, which is writing down my list of all the things I'm not very good at, my strengths and weaknesses, and putting my strengths on display for you all to see, and also putting my weaknesses on display so you can see the actual progress for real, not just see me in here working out. I'm going to actually do that for you all, and I might even begin to making content more often instead of just once weekly, maybe even twice weekly. I'm thinking about adding shorts in. Just let me know what all of you guys think about that, because I've done a few shorts, but they're all videos from the past. So, I just want to know what you guys would think about that. But I think that I'm going to make my decision before anybody comments to me anyways. But I just want to know what you guys would think about that. Now, I was struggling with Adagio this day, but I'm not gonna lie. Adagio and Center, I'm a bit better at it than I thought I was. I am a bit, it's one of my strengths. It's kind of like the same reason why I like fondue. I'm a very power guy. I'm a very stable guy. I like things like that. The quick feet movements are really actually what get me in ballet more than almost anything. But I'm stronger at the extensions, the plies, and gosh, I needed to point my foot better. I'm better at the extensions, the plies, and slower movements in general. I was struggling this day mainly because of my shoes, and I didn't know how to put them on, which is kind of embarrassing, but it's true. And also knowing where to look is definitely a part of, where your balance is placed, and knowing how to put your head in the right position. That was definitely a big, issue for me. But I've just basically started center. Like, I said, I've kind of been doing ballet for 3 years, but I had barely done any center like ever, besides the little bits in, those workshops that I told you about. And boy, I'm telling you, that can't be the main place if you're lacking, because it doesn't matter if you're good at bar if you can't do anything in the center. Bar is just to strengthen you for the center in the first place. And I was just completely neglecting it because honestly, kind of just fear, really. Just felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want to hurt myself, but mainly I was also scared of what I would think about myself more so than anybody else if I just, was so terrible at it and didn't do anything. Not didn't do anything to get better up, but couldn't get better at it. I was scared of not being able to get better, which doesn't make sense when you think about it in retrospection. It's like, what? Why is that the thought process? I should have at least worked at it, but instead of being regretful, I'm changing it now. And I hope you can see it here, that my turnout this is where I notice that I struggle a lot. My foot isn't coming straight back to the position that it's supposed to be. My ankle is kind of rolled over and things like that because my turnout has been so painfully bad. I haven't known what to do with it. And mainly the reason why it's bad is because I have no what I call arch integrity. It's basically where the ball of your heel, not the ball of your heel, the ball of your foot and your heel are mainly the two things that are on the ground. Nothing else is really supposed to be on the ground that much, like besides the outside of your foot a little bit, but the whole entire inside and arch of my foot would be on the ground, and I would have no balance and my hips would be shifting everywhere, kind of like in this video. And it's because I didn't have what I called the arch integrity. Your weight's supposed to be spread out through your toes, the ball of your foot, and your heel. And that is what I was missing during this practice, which was almost a month ago. Also, another thing specifically about the center that the bar wasn't really helping me with, because you have to practice it in the center. Maybe that's just the way I work, but the bar kind of wasn't helping with this specific thing because I wasn't doing it in the center. So everything kind of falls apart for me in the center, which is why I've been practicing it. And what can I say I notice is that a lot of times when my feet come off of the ground, they're not pointed. They're not like pointed very much at all, because I'm so focused on not falling or something strange like that, specifically because of the balance, mainly because I've been going to the workshops and I look at myself in the mirror and it's much better than like in this video specifically, and it's because I'm able to balance better, especially on those floors too. Like this is kind of like carpet, it's kind of lumpy, but I've gotten even better on this floor. It's like, no, if I shot another video standing up, it would be much better than this one. I can even do pirouettes on this floor, whereas I couldn't very well earlier during this time that I recorded this. And it's all because I had not really practiced it at all, because I was concerned about not falling. And it's just kind of like that fear of not knowing, feeling like not knowing what you're doing and you're finna fall like consistently was really affecting my performance. So what I will say is, everybody, please step out of your comfort zone. If you're like working on ballet in a specific way or place, step out of your comfort zone and try something new. Try something that you haven't tried before. Like, some people are just so uncomfortable with penchés. Learn how to get into it. Hold on to something, if you need to. But whatever you do, please, by all means, try, because you will look at it later and regret that you did not when you learn what you could have done. So just figure out what you need to figure out. And then this is kind of exactly what I mean by my feet not being pointed, because here my turnout is like so painfully bad. I was barely even getting into my plies for the jumps. My feet are turned almost completely to the front. And what I didn't know about that is for jumps, your feet and legs, your legs from the hips have to be completely turned out so that you can even feel the connection to the floor to get back off of it the right way. And boy, I'm telling you, I did not know that. So I've been honestly struggling with awesome blades, which are a simple step. I can do some of the more advanced jumps somewhat. Well, no, not somewhat. I'm pretty good at the big jumps, and I'll show you guys those. And that's because I'm basically doing a fondue just in the air, so it's easier for me. But these little movements are something that I struggle with in general, and it's because the turnout is not there. It's like this. It's like the girls say, it's not giving. Also, another thing that I was kind of embarrassed about and struggling with is not knowing what to do with my arms, because it's kind of almost like they just don't tell you, like, a little bit. They almost expect you to know. So I've done a lot of catching on and things like that. But when I'm not in a room with people and I'm not having it really demonstrated for me, I forget. I'm like, what was I supposed to be doing with my arms? Here I'm obviously paying a little bit more attention to it, but I'm still kind of like trying to figure out where they're supposed to go. My hands are crossing the center, just strange things like that, because I haven't really, like been formally taught what, how exactly to do, the port de bras and center and things like that. And I've been, looking into it lately, and I've been recognizing, oh, it's actually less complicated. That's why I was, kind of freaking out about it. It's mainly just the few positions, the same as the legs. And it's very helpful to know that and to understand where your rotations are supposed to be. Now, people tell me all the time in my in the workshop that I go to, they tell me, "Oh, you do very well in class. You do very well in this class." And I'm not gonna lie, I almost thought that they were just saying it just to be, I don't know, modest. But when I think about it, the teacher actually gave me a compliment, which is not something that I hear a lot, but I just thought, the level is lower because we're not, in a formal, like ballet school or anything like that. So, everybody's not like, competing. It's not at an all-time high or anything like that. But every time I tell somebody else they're doing good, they tell me that I do well also. And I wasn't sure if it was just insecurity or things like that, but I've noticed what the things are. When I'm in the class, I am very, very articulated with what it is that I'm doing. Whereas here, I don't even have a mirror. So like when I look back at the videos, I'm like, oh, if I would have seen myself doing this in the moment, I would have been able to fix it, which is why they, have mirrors for class and things like that. So I can tweak what I'm doing while I'm in the class. Whereas here, I have to know what it feels like to begin with. And that is kind of where part of the struggle goes. So I do a lot. I kind of look down at my feet to know where they are. And it's a bad habit. My mom has told me, like, a lot of times over the years, look up, because that's what ballet dancers do. And I'm like, oh my goodness, because they've gotten used to the feeling of how ballet is supposed to feel, where their placement is supposed to be. And you cannot have that without proper turnout. I'm not talking about a full 180 degrees necessarily. I'm talking about enough to where you are not so turned in that, like, every time I jump, my feet kind of turn in a bit. And it also, you also can't see how much your feet are pointed when they turn in, when you're doing just things like échappés, which are just going from one position to another while you're jumping. And different things like that, are just what I've noticed about gaps in what I've done, because I haven't really had formal training. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not using it as an excuse for myself, but I will say I wish I would have had some, but it doesn't really matter to me, because now I'm seeing all of the little cracks, because I'm basically becoming my own kind of teacher or my own coach. And I also do have this very these workshops, which I am coming to the end of as of I think the 28th. Also, another thing that, that's a part of ballet is also integrity as well. I was like, well, my turnout is just not that good. Perhaps I can overcross my legs a little bit more to, you know, over to compensate for it, because I kind of just thought, oh, turnout is kind of an illusion, that you can create on the stage. And as I've been trying to do new moves and things like that, I've noticed, oh, that is not true. You have to have integrity with yourself, and if you don't, the judges are going to see. I'm happy I learned that before I ever got to any place. But it came to the point where in the, kind of like in class, I wasn't really trying as hard to turn out, like specifically with the little jumps and things like that, because I was like, oh, well, you can't really, and it's not true. You can. You have to just, you have to just try harder and know how to do what you are trying to do. It's not all about working harder. It's also about working smarter. But if you do not have the diligence or the integrity to notice, okay, this is a hole. I've definitely got to fix this. I can't just cover it up with something else. I have to fix it. I have to fill it in all the way. Then you can work smarter. Is I am going to be doing yoga every single morning, because I kind of stopped. I'm not gonna lie. I stopped because I don't know why I really stopped. Oh, because I started getting really stressed out with my math that been learning. Um, and I've actually come up with a perfect method of, getting through my math, in which I'll probably talk about in another video perhaps. But what I will say is it will help my body to feel better if I do yoga every morning. And I might even give you guys a few day in the lives, or a weekend in the life of, me, how it is in my home, without, recording my family too much, because that'll probably be annoying to them to be recorded that often. Um, so I will give you, like, a little bit of my routine, and how I go about days, and how I change things, and how I adapt as the days go on, and things like that, because that's really fun as well. And a little bit of yoga might be in there, but it might not be, because I'm not gonna lie, that is my time where I'm really just all in my zone, and it's really helps my mental and emotional health to do, something else. A lot of people get really fixated on one thing. Like for me, it's, kind of been ballet. I get fixated in it, and I not only get fixated in it, I get stuck in analysis paralysis, where you just look around at everything and see, oh, I need to fix this, oh, I need to fix that, oh, I need to do this, oh, I need to do that, I need to be better, I need to be better. And you're not actually taking the time for yourself to get better. And it leads to days like this, honestly, right here, where I am just struggling with getting a regular combination down that's actually pretty simple. And it's all because I have been stuck in not actually taking care of myself. You really have to focus on taking care of yourself, um, more so than you want to get better at something, and then that will help you get better. And another thing I haven't really mentioned, I guess, because in my mind I've said that, I've thought that a lot of people aren't, believers, but I'm just gonna go ahead and mention it because it's the truth about me. But I deeply love God, and more so than taking care of myself, I s- spend a lot of time with God. And it's not just like, just reading my Bible for hours and hours. It's spending time with God throughout the day, that you're just alone and by yourself. And I do this because not only does it make me better at everything, but it makes I love God. So of course I want to be around God all the time. I want to engage with God's presence all the time. Forgive me right here. I was really having a moment. Um, I want, God and I to be very, very close. As I draw near to him, he draws near to me. So
That is not the combination.
I do it quite often. I spend time with God quite often, and on a way that's internal, not necessarily just doing things, but internally acknowledging God. And I will say that that has been the most helpful out of all things, because God is the one who holds me to a higher standard. God's the one that gives me my integrity, because more so than anything, this ballet that I'm learning it's also an emotional journey. It's also a character building journey. It's everything that I really thought that it wouldn't be, and a little bit more, because it's not just a journey, it's me.